Hello, got there eventually. I didn't add myself to the stream. Hello and welcome to the video show, the show where I answer your questions about video. Thank you very much for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. And if you're watching this on catch up, thank you for watching this on catch up. So if you've got any questions for me throughout the show as we go on, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll be very happy to answer them. Today, I base this really on, I get asked a lot about what kind of gear that do I need to create videos, to create podcasts. So I thought next time I'm going to be talking about what kind of gear I have to create videos. But in this episode, I want to talk about my podcasting setup and how I go about that. So to start off with, I've put a link in the comments to my website, which goes through different types of podcasting gear I have used and I am currently using or do use on particular shoots. And I'll be going through those. So there's 4 different sections. First is microphones, then recorders, stands and cables, and then hosting platforms. So let's kick straight off with microphones. So my microphone of choice, this very microphone in front of me, is a Rode Pod mic. Here we go. If I just focus that in for you there. Oh, isn't it lovely? So I've got 3 of these. I use these to different microphones for all the podcasts I record. So there's a show coming up called the Franchise Marketing Show, where there I am. There's a show coming up called the Franchise Marketing Show, where I'm using 2 of these mics for each of the presenters, and I'm using this for my own microphone as well. So I do have 3 of those. They're relatively cheap, so they're, I think, about £95 currently on Amazon. So really good price and an amazing quality I've found as well for what they are. So the reason I've got these is because they're sort of purpose built for the Rodecaster Pro, which I use to record, and I'm using to stream straight into this show itself. So they're sort of the podcast mic for this setup, and that's the reason I've got it. My other, I need to sort of reconfigure my setup as we go through. So my other microphone of choice is a Rode NT1A, which I'm going to show you now. I just need to move the pod mic from the stand and put on the NT1A. Bear with me. So let's see how that goes. Oh, I'll zoom out a little bit. I'm trying to be really fancy. Is it working? Let me know. So here we go. Put me on again. So this is a Rode NT1A. It comes in a bit of a kit. So you get a pop filter, which you can see on there. And there is an XLR cable that you get with it as well. It cost about £185 when I bought it. I did have 2 of these, but one of them just for some reason broke. I'm not sure if I dropped it or whatever. I don't remember dropping it. Let's hit the pod mic. I don't remember dropping it. So I'm not really sure why it broke. But you can see on the website, I only gave this 2 stars out of 5. And I think the reason is it just because it's broke. And it did cost me a little bit more. And the quality is not that much better than the pod mic. Cool. I'm really pushing production value on this. So let's go into recorders. So I'm going to reconfigure my second camera again now to show you my first recorder. Let's just see how this works. Oh, so yeah, you see here, this little bunch of flashing lights, colorful lights over here. That is my Rodecaster Pro, and that is where I'm recording everything to you right now. I can play sounds like this. Okay. Video show theme. I've also got little sound effects like that. So you can add stuff like that. That's kind of fun little stuff. You also got 4 options for 4 XLR inputs. So if I'm recording guests in the studio here, I can put their microphones in through the board as well. I can use this to listen to when I'm editing. Also, if people are phoning into the show, I've got that option there. And if I want to Bluetooth onto the show as well, I can do that. So realistically, you could have 2 people calling into the show through that. This is about £500. It's really good, basic podcasting setup if you want it to be really kind of professional, something like that. And I think for what I'm doing, where I'm recording this show every week, it is really, really worthwhile to get me one of these. But if you want something simpler and something a little bit cheaper just to get you started, then I would recommend a basic recorder like the one I'm going to show you now. So I'm just going to reconfigure my second camera again, just so I can show you. I'll play a bit of music whilst we do that. There we go. Here we go. So I'm just going to zoom out again. Thank you for bearing with me on this. So here we go. So the Zoom H4n, which you can see here, this is my go-to recorder when I'm out and about filming different interviews and stuff like that. So it's really, I've had this a few years and it's really, really seen me in good stead. So there's 3 different ways of recording. I can put my lapel microphone in the back here. I can put my XLR cables in the bottom there, so you can record podcasts with XLR microphones in the bottom. And then this top microphone here, you can also just sort of hold that out and use that as a microphone as well. So it's really good, really robust. I can't, like, I've lost count of the amount of times I've dropped this, but it's really, really been a worthwhile purchase. And for about £200, it's really, I've had it a few years and it's not broken, even though I've dropped it loads of times. And it's just fantastic, really easy to use as well. Second option for that, a bit more advanced than the Zoom H4n. I got this as a kind of like posh backup, but the H6n, I think it goes up to H8, which is mental. But here's the H6. So I'll just reconfigure again slightly. So there we go. So as you can see, there's 4 XLR inputs. You can dial the audio a lot easier. The microphone at the top is removable, so you can add that and take that off, and then you can use the microphone, the lapel microphone input as well. Costs about £100 more, but I've used it as my go-to sort of XLR recorder when I'm out and about, just so I don't have to reconfigure the Zoom. I can just use that. I have a little bag where I've got all my microphones and all my recorders in when I'm out and about, and then I've got the Rodecaster when I'm recording audio back here. But it's a really good recorder. It costs about £100 more, but I think if you're just sort of basic using, like if you just want a basic recorder that does something very, very similar, get the H4n, which is about £100 less. But I just like to have a backup. So I thought, why not get the slightly better one? There we go. H4, I think is probably like, it's a really, really good introduction to recorders. So let's go on to stands. So as you can see, I've got my this is a Rode PSA 1 arm. It allows me to do this. So when I'm not recording the podcast or not recording the video show, I can just move that microphone out of the way using this Rode PSA 1 arm. So it costs about £75. It's pretty good. It just does what it says, really. Like, it's an arm that is really easy to move. I would go for the more expensive one, which is the Rode one on these. You can get really cheap ones for like £20 on Amazon. I would not recommend going for those because I've had a few of those and they broke really, really easily if you've got a good quality, like heavier mic on there. So it is worth just investing that a little bit more to get something that's not going to break. So my cheaper one I had for about a week and it broke, and I've had this Rode one for about, I'd say about 8 or 9 months now, and it hasn't broke. The only thing that I would notice with it is it does have a little bit of a squeak. I don't know if you can hear this. It does squeak slightly, but for it's pretty sturdy, so it's not going to let you down. The second one I've got, so when I'm recording other guests, I have, if you can see in the background, the microphone stand that the pod mic was standing on is this extendable arm. Ooh. So not much to look at, is there? So it's not very exciting, like part of the show, this. But it's extendable, so it extends to quite high, but the lowest setting is pretty high still anyway. So if you're quite short, I would recommend the next stand that I'm going to recommend. Yeah, it's not very exciting. It's pretty sturdy, and it's a stand. What do you expect? I gave that 3 stars on my website. The second option is the shorter version. It's quite sturdy as well, and this is what the NT1A was on. Here we go. So yeah, another little stand. It's quite sturdy, quite heavy. I did have one that broke. It just snapped. So beware of that. I gave it 3 stars on my website. It is a bit heavier, but you can't extend it. So it just it is what it is, really. It's a stand, not very exciting. And then on my website as well, I've got some links to standing stands, just like free standing stands, and an XLR cable, which there's no point showing you because it's not that interesting. It's a cable. In terms of hosting, I use Anchor.fm. It's free. It's owned by Spotify as well. So for the 3 or 4 shows that I run for other businesses, I use Anchor and I use different accounts on Anchor. So you can't have like multi accounts on Anchor. You have to use different emails, unfortunately. But for something that's free, it's really, really good quality. Really easy to upload and give information, and then to spread out to other platforms as well. So I would highly recommend Anchor. I haven't really used any others to recommend. I did use Sound something. I can't remember, but it wasn't as good as Anchor. So the fact that I can't remember it probably tells you something. But okay, so hopefully that's taught you a little something about podcasting gear. I will put the link. I've already put the link in the comments, so take a look at the link of my website. This video will be up on my website as well if you're watching this on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, wherever. So head over to my website, redbookproductions.co.uk/the-video-show to watch this episode again, and all the other episodes of the video show are on there as well. So that's it for episode 342 of the video show. I'll see you next time where we'll be talking about video gear in episode 343. I'll probably need to configure more cameras to show you all the different gear, so I'm not moving stuff around so much. But we got through it. That's the main thing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great afternoon and evening. Bye.